Davis did not play. He's got a bruised left foot. LeBron had 39 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Oklahoma City is no longer the only undefeated team in the Western Conference. OKC lost by 2 at Denver. 29 points for Denver's Russell Westbrook. Oh man, he still would look good in a Clippers uniform. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Beloved Entertainment and the Miracle Theater Foundation presents Sweet Spot Live with KBLA's own Angelique Francis, Sunday, November 17th. Angelique is live on stage featuring storytellers from the community, colorful and provocative, for us and by us, celebrating our strength and our fire. Come hang out with us as we walk through our neighborhoods, even down our dark alleys, because just around the corner, there's laughter, misplaced miracles, unspeakable pain, and yes, forgiveness. It's all happening Sunday, November 17th, 4 p.m. at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood, 226 South Market Street. Last year, audiences raved. Best show in decades. An unforgettable night. Groundbreaking. Sweet Spot Live was thought-provoking and enlightening. Standing ovations begging for more. Please, more. It was a great night. So back by popular demand, it's Sweet Spot Live with Angelique Francis. Get your tickets right now at themiracleinglewood.com. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you in the sweet spot.
Fingers start shaking. I begin to run, sing. I begin to stop. We begin to wrestle. I was on the top. I want to thank you for letting me be myself again. Thank you for letting me be myself again.
Sly and the Family Stone. I'm Tavis, Smiley. Delighted to have you with us in this hour of our program. On the B side of this hour, the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Atlanta, Chandra Farley, on how major cities can set a new direction for their sustainability and climate resilience strategy and goals. We are pushing toward the end of this year, and I am grateful that we've had so many conversations all year long about what I call the urgency of now, the fierce urgency of now. Of course, that's a King quote. Racial equity, climate equity, climate justice, climate resilience. And so we'll talk to Chandra Farley on the backside of this hour about what they're doing in the ATL on this issue. Up first in this hour, though, Trump's economic plan and how it is going to affect black home buyers and sellers, for that matter, with the founder of Techie Homes, Booker T. Washington. Booker T., good to have you back on, sir. How are you today?
I am doing fantastically well, Tavis. How are you?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. A little stuffy. My allergies are acting up today. But that happens. That happens here in California around this time of the year. But I'm okay, though. Let me just jump right in and make the most of our time here. Everybody, I think, is, a lot of folk licking their wounds. I just spent an hour talking to a couple of guests about what to expect over the next 4 years in the Trump era. I also mentioned in our first hour that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has just called for a special session of the California legislature because they are already bracing themselves for being targeted, California that is, being targeted, this blue state, being targeted by the Trump administration on a variety of issues, on a woman's right to choose, on environmental issues. It's just a plethora of issues that the governor of this state is already concerned about. And he's called a special session to actually get some more funding to help the state fight whatever legal battles they're going to find themselves in once the Trump administration comes in. I suspect there'll be other governors who will be thinking likewise. They know that the Trump administration is going to come for them. Donald Trump's been very clear about all the retribution he intends to extract once he gets in. So folk are bracing themselves at a very high level. That's Governor Newsom. But everyday people also are trying to figure out what this Trump economic plan is going to mean for them, specifically if they are would-be home buyers and, for that matter, home sellers. Just broadly speaking, just give me your overall thoughts about what these next 4 years mean, and then we'll get into the issue more directly.
Yeah, I sure can. So for me, I think the next 4 years are going to be just a completion of a strategy they've been working on for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. So we as a community, Black folks in particular, have to pay attention to strategic things that happen around us, because the ultimate result is just the plans of what happens. So they've been laying the groundwork around home ownership, home buying, land ownership, and ownership in general for minorities for a long period of time, which is why Trump won. You know why Trump won? He won because he picked up a voting bloc, and those voting blocs are interested in things for their economy. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem for Black folks is we have very low net worth. We don't own much real estate. We are actually fourth in line behind white Caucasians, Asian Americans, and now Hispanics. Hispanics actually own more real estate than Black folks.
Wow.
Now, if you look at his voting bloc picked up 60% Latino men. Latino men lead their households. Latino men believe in family, collectiveness, and earning a dollar. And although they may be of shade close to us, their value system for economy and ownership is actually more thought out than Black folks. So in this new Trump economy, it is only going to benefit those who are looking out to have ownership in actual activity into the economy. The example was just yesterday. The stock market boomed yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, as a result, those people who are already invested in the stock market and do so and have been doing so strategically over the last 4 years since the pandemic benefited, right? Mm-hmm. But however, Black folks in general, as a per capita, we least invest in the stock market. We least invest in 401k. We're fourth in line around corporate jobs that have the ability of 401k match mutual funds. So those kinds of things don't help our wealth and our power in the ecosystem, which is why in the voting bloc of how Trump won, people may have disagreed vehemently with the words he used, but one thing people care more about than words is they care about themselves. Mm. And when they looked at their economy, they looked at their 401ks, they looked at their stock market, they looked at their home ownership rate. They chose economy over their feelings. And yes, Black folks may be licking their wounds to be upset about their feelings, but they need to also look into their portfolios and say, well, what do I own? Because if I don't own anything, the stock market booming yesterday didn't matter for me.
That's right.
Interest rates going down doesn't matter for me because I don't own a home. If I'm trying to sell a home, house prices are going up. Yesterday, all home builders' stock price went down. Why? Because mortgage yields went up yesterday.
Yep.
So it's an indication that Trump's fight with China is going to hurt building materials. So for us who build micro homes, and the importance of why we build micro homes, that is where we're trying to, at every angle, tell people it doesn't matter about home size.
Right.
But in this new economy, if you don't get to owning something and owning something quickly, you are going to be the have-not in the haves of Trump's world.
When we come forward, just getting started in this half hour with Booker T. Washington, the founder of Techie Homes, trying to get you to understand what it means for you if you are a would-be home buyer, or for that matter, a home seller in the new Trump economy. So when we come forward, six ways that a second Trump presidency will affect home buyers and home sellers. We'll walk through all 6 ways. Let Booker T. Washington respond when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Looking to improve your situation? LA County is here to help. Free Wi-Fi can help you find job opportunities, stay on top of your health, and connect with vital resources. Whether you're seeking employment, healthcare info, or support services, the internet can open a lot of doors. Don't let the digital divide hold you back. Find your connection at libraries, parks, and community centers. To learn more about these resources, visit lacountyandU.com. That's lacountyandU.com.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed with real estate developer and founder of Techie Homes, Booker T. Washington, trying to give you a sense of what you can expect over the next 4 years in this Trump economy when it comes to home ownership. So there are 6 ways here. We are told by Market Watch. 6 ways that a second Trump presidency will affect home buyers and sellers. Let me walk them one at a time and let Booker T. Washington respond. The first way that a Trump presidency will affect home buyers and sellers is that we are going to experience higher mortgage rates. You kind of mentioned that earlier, Booker T. Give me a bit more. Higher mortgage rates.
Well, although the Fed, which monitors rate drops, and people don't really understand it, when the federal government drops a rate, it's basically the rate for which you borrow money, right?
Right.
But if they drop the rate, the home builders and all the banks who have been doing all these programs over the years for down payment systems and such, they're going to make that money back. So they're going to keep their mortgage yield higher. Now, with higher mortgage yields, it's going to make a premium on homes that go up for sale because they're going to build less. It's simple supply and demand.
Right.
If I build less and I have more population and more people, that means the competition and the home prices are going to continue to go up. So what that means for those sellers, that means that if you are trapped in your home and you may have equity, you're actually imprisoned in your home. Because once you sell that home, the equity that you have, let's say it's $200,000, you're going to go back out in this new real estate market and realize that the prices are 5 times bigger than when you first purchased real estate, which is going to keep homes from being sold, which is going to continue to raise the price. And it's already hard enough for minorities to purchase homes as is.
Booker T basically just said this, but the second issue on this list that Market Watch provides us of the ways in which home ownership is going to be impacted by a Trump presidency. Number 2, higher home prices. Booker T. Washington.
Home prices are just going to stay high because thanks to the pandemic and thanks to all of the money flooded by private equity firms such as BlackRock and others, there's so much cash purchased in these homes now that they're not going to go underwater. So the days of a market crash are not coming because the homes are not borrowed on like they used to be. So that means for those people trying to enter the home market, let's say that you are a college senior now, you're starting your entry-level job, you even may have a great salary. But the new average age they are predicting for people to buy their first home is going to be age 42. Now, let's do the math on that. If you become an adult, you get out of school, you've done everything right, got a secondary education, and you get out in here, you start working, that means you're going to be paying an average of $2,000 of rent for 20 years before you're eligible to buy your first home. That means you would have given someone else, the person that built that building you're renting out of, $280,000 of your economy you'll never see again. And this is how you keep generations lacking in wealth generation, because they're busy giving their money to others. And that's what's going to happen in this next economy.
The third way in which a Trump presidency is going to affect home ownership, according to Market Watch, more tax incentives for home builders and more housing supply. Booker T. Washington.
So in order to generate more housing as a house builder and the products that go into building those homes, they're going to give more and more developers tax incentives. But what does that mean for your municipal area you live in? When you give a developer tax incentives on a brand new apartment building, the people renting the apartment don't pay property taxes. What does property taxes help with? Property taxes help with schools, they help with police, they help with fire, they help with maintaining your roads, parks, and bridges. This is why Trump getting ready to get rid of the infrastructure plan that Biden put to place is going to be detrimental to the municipal government, which means your children are going to get a poorer education, you're going to have less teachers, you're going to have less police protection, crime rates will go up, because the tax incentives they're going to give the developer's not going to pay property taxes for up to 20 years possibly. So if the developer doesn't pay property taxes and the renters aren't paying property taxes, well, how are you maintaining the municipal government without tax money?
Yeah, we all know that Republicans and Trump in particular hate regulation, particularly in the industries that he has made money in. So the fourth item on the list from Market Watch of the ways in which a Trump presidency is going to affect home ownership in this country, less regulation in home building and lending. Mr. Washington.
When you release the regulations in home building, well, that means expediency to permit, the use of land, zoning rights. That means that people are going to put more out there that benefits them only. That means there's going to be less communities that are for sale. They're going to start building communities of single-family homes that are for rent and rent only. And with the reduced regulations, no one's going to be there to stop them. And that means it's going to limit the areas for which you can find ownership. And by limiting your ownership, they only increase their worth. That's why if you are in position, and Trump is going to ensure that everyone that has that kind of wealth positioning is in play, loosening those regulations only going to expand the amount of rental density that we have and exacerbate the home ownership metric, which is why what Kamala Harris was trying to introduce was that down payment money for first-time home buyers, because you're just going to see that it's a term, Tavis, and you can Google it. The economists have already started using this term called forever renter. It is a heavy term they use in California already because of rental rates. They are poising for most people to now be renting in this new economy instead of owning, which is a bigger issue for people's long-term equitable wealth, because your income wages don't grow as fast as your home equity would.
If black people, before I get to number 5 on this list, if black people are a part of that group that you just referenced, and home ownership is the way that we get on the path to creating wealth, we're in some trouble then when it comes to wealth creation in the years to come.
You are. And just as an example, yesterday when the stock market boomed, even if you say, well, I want to invest in the stock market, well, the stock prices are so high, you are not going to be able to invest enough because your disposable income is so small because you don't have anything to pull from. So it's a strategic way of capping you class and ownership-wise in the have or have-nots. The next 10 years will be somewhat similar to the Reagan days of when the economy split everybody. If you don't have any inkling of trying to maneuver yourself and your finances into gaining more investment, and you need money to invest, this is the problem. We may all agree that black people should invest, and black people say, yes, I want to invest, but you don't have any discretionary income to do so. And by eliminating regulations, eliminating those subsidies for sustainable building, because Trump is already going to be on a warpath to rip away everything around clean water, clean air, clean sustainability. All of those initiatives are going to hurt the urban communities first. This is how Flint, Water, all these other areas get their bad environment, because there's nothing there to help build them up. and he's just going to exacerbate that over his tenure.
Yep. Number 5, this is sort of inside baseball. Booker T. Washington gets it, and he'll explain it to you right now. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac could go private.
Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae want to go private because by HUD guidelines, Fannie and Freddie are controlled by HUD regulations, which is built by the federal government.
Right.
So Fannie and Freddie can only lend money based on those regulations. But if they go private, all of those different regulations about home size, lot size, square footage size, all those different things that manage what a government-backed mortgage can be is going to be unleashed. And that means those conventional mortgage providers, remember the hand got caught in the cookie jar, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, when it comes to redlining and strategic mortgage lending? Well, when you take Fannie and Freddie private, then there's not going to be any governmental guidelines to protect the erroneous ways that these private lenders want to do, because they want to make money, and they're going to have safer bets, and they're going to have safer neighborhoods, and they're going to strategically lend money and mortgage provide, and won't be surprised that another major bank gets their hand caught in the cookie jar.
Number 6 on the market watch list of the ways in which a Trump presidency will affect home ownership is that nothing, they call it the bottom line, that for the average home buyer, nothing changes immediately as Trump replaces Biden in the White House. But all the things we've discussed heretofore, these other 5, are things that we should be on the lookout for. Now, in the 5 minutes I have left, let me go to the point you raised earlier. Specifically, I'm talking now to black folk who are listening who are not homeowners. You've made the point quite clear, Booker T. Washington, that now is the most propitious time, the best time ever for you to figure out a way to own something. Which leads me into a conversation briefly here about techie homes. For those who have not heard about techie homes and what you do and the size of these houses, take it away and tell me why what you do you think is one of the answers, as my big mama would say, it is one of the answers to the prayer.
Yeah, what we do at Techie Homes is we specifically build micro home communities. Micro homes are homes under 1,000 square feet but bigger than 600 square feet. Why do we build these homes? Because the price and the cost of building them are a little bit more economical in scale in this new environment of higher interest rates and everything you just covered in the first 5. That means that these smaller homes are homes that are 2 or 3 bedrooms. If you are of a family size and that bedroom size fits, you need to be purchasing real estate. And don't concentrate on the interest rate. The interest rates will change. You date the rate, you marry the house. That way, when your home equity changes, you're going to benefit from it by putting it in the stock market or leveraging your family to buy another home. But if you don't own anything, there's no equity to leverage. If your employer fires you, this is what I told a home buyer yesterday. You're living on hope. You're not living in guarantee. Everything about your life is on hope. You're hoping your employer don't go out of business today. You're hoping somebody drops the interest rate. You're hoping your landlord in that apartment don't raise the rent $200 next year. You're hoping. The only guarantee you have is your own homestead and putting an economy around your lifestyle, and that is why Trump won. People chose their economy over skepticism of his outrageous comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say all the time that hope needs help. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with building a life on hope, Booker T. Washington, but even hope needs some help. And black people need to be mindful of that. The question that comes up all the time, even when we're talking about techie homes and we're talking about micro homes, is access to capital. What say you about that for black folk in particular?
Well, what we do specifically at Techie Homes is we provide our own down payment assistance credit. And sometimes price point helps you with the amount of money you can get. Now, the average credit score to purchase a home is somewhere between 580 and 620. I would tell you need to have a credit score over 650. And you need to engage into all of your public areas because they do have down payment assistance in your government, but they don't advertise them. So you need to lean into home ownership. Go to classes. Figure out the paperwork you need. File your taxes, okay? No matter what income you have, file your taxes. That way you can prepare, because if you do those things, you can go from not to having a home in a little bit under 6 months. And if you target your appetite to what you need today and not what you have tomorrow, and utilize leverage. That way, either whether you're investing in a techie home, micro home, or any home for home ownership, we have to start somewhere as a price point. But down payment assistance definitely starts with you engaging into those local programs and down payment assistance programs and talking directly to developers like me or others, and working directly with them to get them to provide you incentives to help purchase that home, because they will.
I said to somebody the other day, Booker T. Washington, it's important for us to also be reminded of the fact that if a micro home, and I'm as I get older, I'm trying to downsize anyway. I ain't trying to upgrade. I'm trying to downsize.
Correct.
I want less stuff to deal with, less stuff to clean, less stuff to have to manage. So I'm trying to downsize anyway as I get older. But even if your first home is a micro home, the key phrase is it's your first home. Nobody says your last home. It's your first home. You get into it. You start to build the equity. If you want to buy something else, you can buy some more micro homes. You start leasing homes out. But the point is that this may be your best way to get into a first home, but you got to buy something. But nobody says it's your last home, Booker T.
No, but the bigger point is it's a collateral asset.
Right.
When you go into a bank and you want to open a small business, and let's say the small business lender says, I'll give you $1 million, you got to give me a 10% collateral asset down. Well, you can't take your lease in there. You can't take your car note in there.
That's right.
You can't take none of those things are collateral assets. You need to own something. And then when you put that $200,000 collateral asset on the book, he says, well, you got more than 10% for this $1 million. Let's go open up a small business. Then you go start generating wealth for you and yours.
Yeah, I love it. As Big Mama would say, it's just too much like right. It's just too much like right for us to ignore it. Booker T. Washington, real estate developer, founder of Techie Homes. These micro homes. If you've never checked these out, I said this last time he was on. Just Google Techie Homes, and you will see what their micro homes look like. They're pretty amazing, and it may be something you want to consider as a starter. And the point he just made now, you got a collateral asset on top of that, on top of some place to stay that you own and you ain't paying rent. Booker T. Washington, good to have you on the program, man. Thanks for your insights. We'll do it again, sir. All the best to you.
All the best to you. Thanks, Tavis.
Good to have you on, man. Thank you for your time. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. President-elect Donald Trump must assemble a transition team before Inauguration Day on January 20th. He needs to fill around 4,000 government positions, including 1,200 requiring Senate approval. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stated that if he joins the new Trump administration, some FDA departments like the Nutrition Department will need to be removed for not protecting children. He clarified he wouldn't eliminate health agencies without congressional approval, but aims to eliminate corruption within them. Several states made big swings in this election. Some of the biggest for President-elect Trump were in blue states, including New York and New Jersey. According to NBC News, both states shifted 11 points in the Republicans' favor. And South Carolina police are trying to round up 40 monkeys that escaped from a research facility. Police say the monkeys got loose last night from the Alpha Genesis Primate Research Center, which uses primates to conduct clinical trials for various treatments. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows you want to get more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals every week on holiday decor, tools, and more. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details, subject to change.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers made sure Paul George did not have a happy homecoming Wednesday night. The Clippers cruised to a 110-98 win over Philadelphia at the Intuit Dome. It was George's first game against his former team. PG played 24 minutes and finished with 18 points and 4 turnovers. Norman Powell led the Clippers with 26 points. The Clippers are 4-4. The Lakers wrapped up a 5-game road trip, losing 4 out of 5. They were dominated by Memphis, 131-114. Memphis shot 50% from three-point range. The Lakers' perimeter defense needs some work. Anthony Davis did not play. He's got a bruised left foot. LeBron had 39 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Oklahoma City is no longer the only undefeated team in the Western Conference. OKC lost by 2 at Denver. 29 points for Denver's Russell Westbrook. Oh man, he still would look good in a Clippers uniform. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. If we're the ones disproportionately impacted by these climate catastrophes, why should we be silent? Turning up the volume all year long on the climate conversation for KBLA Talk 1580.
Febreze. So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
I was so excited when I heard the sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet, now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
You are indeed, and I'm glad about it. Our guest right now is Chandra Farley, the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Atlanta, to talk about how major cities are and can set new directions for their sustainability and climate resilient strategies and goals. Chandra Farley, good to have you on. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you on. Let me start with this, and I don't mean to make you political, but you'll take the point I'm making here. I mentioned earlier on our program today some breaking news here. I'm in California, of course. This program is heard in Atlanta and across the country in syndication. But I'm sitting in L.A. right now, and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who we all know, has called for a special session of the California legislature. He's asking California lawmakers to increase state funding for litigation against the incoming Trump administration. He anticipates that California is going to be in Trump's crosshairs as a blue state, and there'll be a number of things they'll need to fight: limiting access to abortion, dismantling environmental protections, withholding federal disaster response funding, which obviously connects to the environment as well. I'm wondering whether or not in Atlanta, of course, Trump did win Georgia, but we know Atlanta is a black metro. I'm wondering whether or not you have you and your team have started to consider whether or not there are ways in which you're going to be fighting an uphill battle to achieve these climate goals over the next 4 years.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to get that update. And we have certainly been mobilizing, not just since the disappointing election results from this week, but really for the last few months. There are a number of organizations that convene sustainability directors across the country, including the philanthropic community that supports many of these organizations, that has been in a mode of scenario planning, if you will. So we are not being caught flat-footed, and we've been here before. After the election in 2015, the same groups came together, including mayors, who really picked up the commitment to climate justice and as you mentioned, or commitment to climate action. And as you mentioned, I'm in Georgia. It is a red state at all levels, even though it did go for Biden in 2020. So we are used to dealing with these realities, and we will continue to push through if we can.
When you read what Project 2025 lays out, which many take to be a Trump agenda over the next 4 years, you see the all-out assault and attack on issues of climate change, climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. I said earlier in today's program, this is a part of this audience knows it's part of a continuing series all year long. We've been having these climate justice conversations as part of my work and witness around this issue or these issues that I consider to be the urgency of now. And so we know that the Republican Party writ large, Donald Trump in particular, are climate deniers. There were a number of ways in which this came up on the campaign trail during this race for the White House. We know that one of their agenda items once in power, back in power in Washington, is to literally just cross out. They literally want to wipe out any reference to climate change in federal government documents. That I am not making this up. My question is how, in fact, you all push forward, how we writ large, but you in Atlanta push forward to achieve these climate goals when you are now under a federal administration that doesn't believe in the science.
Yes. So at the federal level, there can definitely be barriers, particularly with the decisions that were made related to a lot of the federal funding, thanks to the Biden-Harris administration being able to pass the most impactful climate legislation in history. But federal agencies, aware of what could happen, have been working very hard to get those dollars out the door. And so at the federal level, those dollars are really just starting to flow to cities. So that's one. My perspective on climate is largely informed by energy. And energy decisions are made at the state level. So, intervening in our formal public service commission process, engaging directly with our investor-owned utility, Georgia Power, is critically important to being able to continue to pull the levers that we do to keep moving on climate action, really independent, I think, largely of the posture at the federal level. And I will also say, as much as perhaps those who may talk about themselves as climate deniers, billions of dollars have flowed to states and cities over the last couple of years and are still flowing. Georgia is a top state now for clean energy manufacturing. And whether a lot of governors or state legislatures say it or not, depending on their political affiliation, I think they're going to have some different opinions about what we really talk about when people may call themselves climate deniers, because the fact is billions of dollars have flowed to states to reshore manufacturing and clean energy manufacturing. So I'm really going to be watching and learning here over the next few weeks to see that posture from businesses, from commerce, who enjoying the clean energy boom.
Yeah. I love the ATL, and I've spent more time there over the years than I can even describe. Had some of the best times of my life have been spent hanging out in Atlanta. So I love the ATL, and yet I'm not telling you something you don't already know. Everybody, as we say in my neighborhood, everybody is trying to move to Atlanta, has moved to Atlanta. It's become the mecca of the South, and the population there continues to grow. I am curious as to how everybody moving to Atlanta, and everybody black moving to Atlanta, has impacted the environmental challenges that you face in Atlanta and in the state of Georgia.
Absolutely. So, yes, people are still coming. We are the sixth largest metro now. City of Atlanta proper is just over 500,000 people. The number one challenge, I'll say two, our largest source of emissions for City of Atlanta, one is buildings, energy serving buildings, and two is transportation.
Sure.
So one, with so many people moving there, and with our mayor's goals, Mayor Andre Dickens, who is a climate mayor, also with Mayor Karen Bass, has housing as his top priority. He is a housing mayor. And so when we talk about building affordable housing, he is also talking about preserving affordable housing, which means we are doing a lot of work around weatherization, energy efficiency, adding renewable energy to homes. So that will help us make sure that we can keep a check on all those increases in carbon emissions that we can expect, in making sure that as we build more housing, we are building housing that is climate resilient, and using renewable energy as much as possible, because we do know, housing affordability requires utility affordability. So everything that we can do to keep a check on those utility costs, and the strategies to keep a check on those utility costs, again, include things like weatherization, energy efficiency, and renewable energy, is going to help us with that. And as far as transportation goes, we still have a lot of work to do, but supporting the transition to electric vehicles, we were awarded just about $11.7 million to expand electric vehicle charging at the airport. We are doing a lot of work to add more electric vehicles to our fleet and support employees with expanded EV charging infrastructure. And those two things are other strategies to help us with all the people that are moving here who need their cars, because transit may not be as accessible as we want. Those are the kinds of things we're doing to mitigate that impact.
No, the last time I was in Atlanta, I was sitting in traffic for longer than I wanted to be. I said, man, I should have just stayed in L.A. Atlanta traffic now is as bad as the traffic here in L.A. I digress for now. When we come forward, we'll talk about what can be done, what is being done to address these inequities in climate impacts. You're listening to Chandra Farley, the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Atlanta, right now on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Shop early, save big all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a free Select tool when you buy a Select battery or combo kit because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/7 through 11/20. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
So the Trump administration comes into office in January, and we expect to push back, a pretty strong and aggressive, robust pushback on these climate goals that have been set in cities and states all across the country. They just don't believe in it, which makes it more difficult then, it seems to me, Chandra Farley, to address the inequities that we already know exist in climate impacts.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I think that these are challenges we have been dealing with long before certain administrations came into office with even more dangerous agendas. So when we talk about justice, and whether it's climate justice, environmental justice, racial justice, this is work and movements that have been building for decades, and particularly in the climate space, have been getting stronger year by year. So I believe that, number one, we have to keep our focus on, when we are addressing these benefits, is the people. Mm-hmm. When we are talking about solutions, we've got to talk about who benefits, why do they benefit, or why not. And by asking those questions, we can go deeper beyond sort of the technocratic solution to real people-centered solutions, and that is how we begin, keeping people at the center and co-designing with these communities, because they are the experts.
Yeah.
Communities, residents who live in energy-burdened communities or environmental injustice communities, they know what the issues are, and the people who are closest to the challenges are the people who have the best solutions.
I was just about to ask you about that. What have you learned in your work about engaging the community as co-designers, as co-architects in their own storyline, their own narrative?
Really amazing things. It's always a learning experience. I like to use an example for a project that I was a partner on with the Atlanta University Center,
Mm-hmm.
where we were partnering with Spelman, Morehouse on a feasibility project to add solar, battery storage, and essentially create a microgrid on the campus, and then pair that with a community resilience hub in the neighborhoods that surround the Atlanta University Center. Those neighborhoods are some of the most energy burdened neighborhoods, not just in the city of Atlanta, but in the state of Georgia. And so as we went through this technical process, we had the utility at the table, academia from the AUC, and technical support from one of the Department of Energy's national labs. And based on all that data, they came back with recommendations on 4 sites that were the best sites based on the technical data. But at the same time, my colleague, community organizer, was working with residents in community to, one, talk to them and help them understand what a community resilience hub was and why it was important. And community started programming their needs. And when they looked at the list of those sites that came back based on the technical data, we got feedback like, no, seniors do not feel comfortable at this location. Or our seniors in community, it's not easy for them to get to this location because it's not, the ADA accessibility hasn't been updated. Or they don't feel safe going to this location. So that lived experience information data was just as important as that technical data that we got back from the energy models and the utility transmission line models. And that really drove a shift in where we were ultimately able to place that community support hub. So that is an example that I love to use in real time. We actually just this summer, in partnership with an organization called Groundswell Community Church, opened that community resilience hub based on information from community members that this was the place that could really not only be a demonstration project to bring renewable energy to community, but where residents were going to feel safe coming to access resources in times of emergency.
Our remaining moments with Chandra Farley, the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Atlanta, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Chandra Farley, who's the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Atlanta. My exit question here with 2 minutes to go. Chandra Farley, is what is your best advice for cities to address the issue of climate action over the next 4 years?
Set ambitious goals. We have to continue to set ambitious goals. City of Atlanta adopted a clean energy goal to achieve 100% clean energy by 2035. Mm-hmm. And the way we talk about that goal related to our conversation is that we want to achieve 100% clean energy for 100% of Atlantans by 2035. So saying those two things together ensures that we are driving towards a renewable energy future for the city, and also making sure that our residents and our residents and businesses have equitable access to those opportunities in the form of jobs. Yes, jobs are great, but also career paths that can lead to minority business development. Yeah. So I would say keep setting those ambitious goals. Stay focused on leadership. If your mayor is not connected to the Climate Mayors Network, get connected to that. We're going to need community more than ever, and there are a number of networks out there that you can get plugged into to make sure that you know you're not alone, and we can achieve these goals.
It's been almost a year on this program of addressing issues of climate justice, climate equity, and climate resilience as part of our series of conversations with experts who look like you and me all across the country. To what end, I do not know, given what we expect is going to happen or not happen, as it were, over the next 4 years on issues of climate, given that the Trump administration is soon to take the reins of our government in January. But I'm always grateful to those who are doing the heavy lifting, doing the righteous work, as is Chandra Farley in Atlanta as their Chief Sustainability Officer. Chandra, good to have you on. Thank you for your work and witness. All the best to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for this series.
My great delight. Thank you for coming on today. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. President-elect Donald Trump must assemble a transition team before Inauguration Day on January 20th. He needs to fill around 4,000 government positions, including 1,200 requiring Senate approval. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stated that if he joins the new Trump administration, some FDA departments like the Nutrition Department will need to be removed for not protecting children. He clarified he wouldn't eliminate health agencies without congressional approval, but aims to eliminate corruption within them. Several states made big swings in this election. Some of the biggest for President-elect Trump were in blue states, including New York and New Jersey. According to NBC News, both states shifted 11 points in the Republicans' favor. And South Carolina police are trying to round up 40